The world is spiraling into chaos faster than you think. Crop failures are at an all-time high, grocery prices are gutting household budgets, and the global supply chain is hanging by a thread. This isn't fear-mongering, it's reality. Just this week, wheat shipments were delayed at major European ports, soybean harvests in South America collapsed under extreme drought, and food processing plants in the U.S. warned of production cutbacks heading into next year. Still think you can waltz into the grocery store next month and get whatever you need? Think again. The shelves are emptying, and by the time you wake up to it, it'll already be too late. It's not just about the specialty items disappearing. We're talking about everyday essentials like rice, pasta, cooking oil, and even salt. And don't fall for the lie that this is only happening in other countries. The latest economic data shows U.S. grocery prices have spiked 20% over the past year, and analysts predict this is just the beginning. Have you noticed the limits on how many bags of flour you can buy? How eggs seem to vanish the second they're stocked? Or how peanut butter and pasta sauce prices are creeping up every week? This isn't a coincidence. It's the early warning signs of a supply system in freefall. And let me hit you with some brutal truth. The government isn't going to save you. Those emergency food banks you think will be there when times get tough, they'll run dry in a matter of days. That relief check you're hoping for? It won't cover half of what you need when hyperinflation hits. If you're still putting off prepping, you're gambling with your survival. You can either get ahead now or get left behind with the rest. Now I'm about to break down 30 critical grocery items you must stockpile before next month. These aren't optional luxuries. They are the difference between survival and desperation. And while everyone else is panicking, you'll be sitting on a stockpile that keeps your family fed while others scramble for scraps. Pay attention, take notes, and start moving. Because when the panic starts, it won't be gradual. It'll be instant. Let's get into it. 30 bottled water, Aquafina or Dasani. Water is life, plain and simple. Yet in our modern world, people take it for granted, assuming clean tap water will always flow. Let me shatter that illusion. Climate changes are drying up reservoirs, industrial pollution is contaminating groundwater, and aging infrastructure is buckling under extreme weather. Even in developed nations, boil water advisories have become distressingly common, proving that no one is immune to water disruptions. That's why stocking up on bottled water from trusted brands like Aquafina or Dasani is non-negotiable. The shelf life on sealed bottles can span up to 2 years if stored properly, though rotating your supply every 6 months is wise to maintain freshness. In a worst-case scenario, whether an earthquake, hurricane, or even major cyber attack, water utilities can fail, leaving you high and literally dry. You can't cook your rice, hydrate your kids, or keep your body running without clean water. Medical experts recommend at least 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and basic hygiene. But during crisis mode, that might not cut it if you're also cooking, washing dishes, or flushing toilets sparingly. Treat water like the precious resource it is. Keep a robust supply, store it in a cool, dark place, and fortify your family against the unthinkable. 29. Rice, Mahatma long grain or Lotus Foods Organic. Rice is the quiet cornerstone of diets worldwide, and it's a survival staple you simply cannot overlook. With crop failures spiking globally, especially in major rice-producing regions like India and China, this grain is rapidly becoming more precious than gold. Mahatma long grain, rice or Lotus Foods. Organic varieties are excellent choices for your stockpile because they are widely available and have a strong reputation for quality. Properly stored in food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers, rice can last up to 25-30 years, making it one of the best investments in your emergency pantry. Economically, it's also a no-brainer. You can buy large bags without emptying your wallet, and those bags will yield countless servings. Nutritionally, it's a decent source of carbohydrates, fueling your body with the energy you need to face a crisis. Combine it with beans or canned meats to balance out the protein. You can even repurpose leftover rice into fried rice the next day. Talk about stretching your resources. Historically, armies and explorers relied heavily on rice because it travels well and can withstand harsh conditions. When geopolitical tensions disrupt grain exports, you'll be grateful to have a stock of this resilient staple on hand. 28. Dried beans, Goya black beans or Camellia red kidney beans. In a world teetering on the brink of food shortages, dried beans are unsung heroes. They're packed with protein, fiber, and essential minerals like iron and magnesium, making them an indispensable survival food. With supply chain issues plaguing ports and farmland crises hitting global pulses harvests, you'd be wise to grab bags of Goya black beans or Camellia red kidney beans before the shelves run bare. Properly stored, dried beans can last for 10 years or more, retaining both flavor and nutritional value. The secret is keeping them in airtight containers with minimal moisture. Oxygen absorbers help extend shelf life further. Whether you're simmering a hearty soup or adding them to rice for a complete amino acid profile, beans are versatile enough to create numerous filling meals. Historically, beans have been a cornerstone of human diets across every continent, from Asia to the Americas, because they offer both sustenance and affordability. In lean times, they have fed entire civilizations. Sure, they take a little time to cook, especially if you don't have a pressure cooker, but the trade-off is worth it. During an emergency, the slow cooking process can be part of your routine, helping you maintain a semblance of normalcy when everything else is in chaos. 27. Canned tuna, Starkist chunk light or wild planet albacore. Protein is a cornerstone of survival, but when fresh meat becomes scarce or impossible to find, canned tuna steps into the spotlight. Brands like Starkist chunk light and wild planet albacore are not just convenient, they're crucial. Their shelf life can stretch from 2 to 5 years, giving you peace of mind in a long-term crisis. Don't be fooled into thinking canned fish is a low-grade option. These cans pack a serious nutritional punch, including essential omega-3 fatty acids that support heart and brain function. In times of stress, your body craves these healthy fats, and you're not likely to find them in basic carbs or snacks. With global fisheries under pressure from pollution and overfishing, tuna is already a commodity that can spike in price without warning. Add supply chain issues, and you might see it vanish overnight. Having a stash isn't just about staving off hunger, it's about protecting your health. Toss it into salads, mix it with pasta, or eat it straight from the can for a high-protein meal on the fly. Historically, naval fleets have relied heavily on canned fish for its portability and resilience against spoilage, a testament to its enduring value in maritime and survival scenarios alike. 26. Pasta, Barilla spaghetti or di cecco penne. When the world descends into chaos and grocery store shelves run bare, pasta often disappears first. It's cheap, it's filling, and it's adaptable to almost any flavor profile. That's why stocking up on brands like Barilla spaghetti or di cecco penne could be your meal planning lifeline. Secure it now before panic buying drives prices into the stratosphere. Pasta's long shelf life, up to 2 years or more if kept sealed and dry, makes it a prime candidate for your emergency stash. You can store it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers to push that shelf life even further. Nutrition-wise, pasta is a reliable source of carbohydrates, fueling both your body and morale when things feel bleak. Pair it with canned meat, tomato sauce, or even just olive oil and salt for a simple yet satisfying meal. Historically, pasta rose to prominence in times of scarcity because it could be mass-produced from durum wheat and dried for transport, qualities that remain beneficial today. Geopolitical tensions in wheat exporting regions threaten future supplies and prices, so don't wait until the crisis hits. Having a few dozen pounds of pasta can literally spell the difference between daily uncertainty and a guaranteed hot meal that comforts your soul in dire circumstances. 25. Canned tomatoes, Hunt's crushed or San Marzano whole peeled. Canned tomatoes might sound mundane, but they're a survival game-changer. When fresh produce is either too expensive or nowhere to be found, your stockpile of Hunt's crushed tomatoes or San Marzano whole-peeled tomatoes will keep your meals flavorful and nutritious. Tomatoes are rich in vitamins A and C, plus antioxidants like lycopene, which contribute to immune support, absolutely critical when your environment grows hostile. Even before the current wave of climate disasters, tomatoes were often subject to price swings and shortages. Now, with extreme weather wreaking havoc on agricultural regions, production is even more vulnerable. Shelf life typically runs about 18-24 months, but you can stretch it a bit longer if you store the cans in a cool, dark place. Use them for soups, sauces, stews, or even a quick shakshuka when protein is in short supply. Historically, armies and explorers carried tomato paste or sauce because it was a multi-purpose base that could turn bland rations into hearty meals. In crisis mode, you'll appreciate every bit of flavor you can muster. Canned tomatoes also have a mild preservative effect on other ingredients in one-pot recipes, further extending your resources. Don't underestimate this simple staple. It might just save your taste buds and your health. 24. Honey, Nature Nate's raw and unfiltered or Manuka honey. When society crumbles and you're left to fend for yourself, honey is the sweet ally you never knew you needed. Unlike sugar, which can clump or harden over time, honey boasts a virtually indefinite shelf life if stored properly. Archaeologists have even found edible honey in ancient Egyptian tombs. Nature Nate's raw and unfiltered honey or premium Manuka honey are excellent choices, offering natural antibiotic properties that sugar simply doesn't have. If you're dealing with limited medical supplies, honey can serve as a topical antiseptic for minor cuts and burns. Historically, it was used to dress wounds on battlefields long before modern medicine emerged. Nutritionally, it offers quick energy and beneficial enzymes, plus trace minerals like iron and calcium. Worried about flavor fatigue during an emergency? Honey's versatility can perk up tea, oatmeal, peanut butter sandwiches, or even homemade bread. Climate-driven bee population declines are already contributing to honey shortages globally, so the price is only going up. That's your cue to buy in bulk now. Keep honey in airtight containers, away from direct sunlight and moisture. And you've got a sweet treat that boosts morale, fights bacteria, and supplies vital carbohydrates when you need it most. 23. Canned chicken, Swanson Premium White or Kirkland Signature Chicken Breast. Protein is non-negotiable when the chips are down, and canned chicken offers a meaty, shelf-stable solution that holds up even when your fridge doesn't. Brands like Swanson Premium White and Kirkland Signature Chicken Breast come pre-cooked and sealed in airtight cans, giving you a reliable supply that can last 2 to 5 years if stored properly. Don't underestimate its nutritional heft. Canned chicken delivers a solid dose of protein, B vitamins, and minerals like phosphorus, all crucial for maintaining muscle function and overall health during stressful situations. Pair it with rice, add it to soups, or toss it into a quick stir-fry with canned veggies for a well-rounded meal that feels anything but survival food. Historically, poultry preservation posed a serious challenge in hot climates and wartime conditions, but modern canning technology solved that problem, making canned chicken a mainstay in military rations. Global poultry markets are increasingly shaky due to bird flu outbreaks and rising feed costs linked to crop failures. Once supply chains break down, poultry in any form will skyrocket in price or vanish entirely. With canned chicken in your arsenal, you're less likely to suffer protein deprivation and more likely to keep everyone in your household energized and ready. 22. Powdered eggs, Ova Easy or Augusten Farms. Fresh eggs are phenomenal, but they're also one of the first items to disappear from shelves during a crisis or natural disaster. When power outages knock out refrigeration and transport lines falter, say goodbye to your weekend omelets unless you've stockpiled powdered eggs. Brands like Ova Easy or Augusten Farms have perfected the art of egg dehydration, giving you a shelf-stable product that can last for 5 to 10 years when stored correctly. Nutritionally, powdered eggs deliver much of the same punch as fresh eggs, offering protein, vitamin D, and essential amino acids your body can't produce on its own. Historically, powdered eggs were a staple in World War II rations, fueling soldiers who lacked access to fresh produce. They're also surprisingly versatile. Reconstitute them for scrambled eggs, use them in baking, or whip them into pancake batter. When the global poultry supply wavers and egg prices soar, as we've already seen with recurring avian flu outbreaks, powdered eggs become a lifeline, not a novelty. Don't be caught off guard by empty dairy cases. Once you experience the freedom of cooking up a hearty breakfast or baking a loaf of bread without needing fresh eggs, you'll understand why powdered eggs are an under-the-radar essential for any serious prepper. 21. Canned fruit, Dole pineapple chunks or Del Monte mixed fruit. When fresh fruit vanishes from grocery aisles or skyrockets in price, having canned fruit on hand is like tapping into a sweet oasis in a desert of bland carbs. Brands like Dole pineapple chunks and Del Monte mixed fruit come loaded with vitamins, fiber, and crucial hydration. giving you a much-needed nutritional boost when real produce is out of reach. Properly stored cans can last up to 2 years or more, offering a bright splash of flavor in times of monotony. During historical shortages, whether due to war, drought, or trade embargoes, canned fruit stood out as one of the few ways to preserve taste and vitamins without needing refrigeration. Keep an eye on the sugar content, though. If you're worried about health, opt for fruit packed in water or its own juice, rather than heavy syrup. That said, a little sugar could be a morale booster when the world feels grim. The packaging is sturdy and typically pest-proof, making it straightforward to stack and store. With ports facing blockages and global shipping in disarray, fruit imports are especially vulnerable to disruption. Don't wait until the only thing left is bruised bananas at triple the price. Secure a stash of canned fruit and keep your vitamin intake strong. 20. Dried fruit, Mariani dried apricots, or ocean spray craisins. Fresh fruit is a ticking time bomb in a crisis. Once it's gone, you're left with zero vitamin C and a serious morale deficit. Enter dried fruit, your durable, nutrient-packed alternative. Consider grabbing Mariani dried apricots or ocean spray craisins, both known for consistent quality and reasonable prices. These portable snacks are a source of quick energy, fiber, and antioxidants that can keep your immune system on point when the world is literally on fire. Global inflation doesn't just hit staple foods, it also jacks up the cost of fruit and sugar. Dried fruit is doubly affected because it relies on a stable sugar market and functioning supply chains. Storing dried fruit is a breeze. Seal it in Mylar bags or airtight containers with oxygen absorbers to keep it fresh for up to a year or more. Plus, it's infinitely versatile. Throw it in oatmeal, mix it with nuts for a trail mix, or rehydrate it for baking pies or bread. Historically, dried fruit was a staple for travelers and explorers, from the Silk Road merchants to Arctic expeditions, precisely because it delivers quick calories without spoiling. When you're hunkered down at home, you'll appreciate having these sweet little boosters in your pantry. 19. Dried soup mixes, Bear Creek cheddar broccoli or Knorr soup mix. In an emergency scenario, sometimes you need a hot meal fast without juggling a dozen ingredients or extensive cooking. That's where dried soup mixes come in clutch. Brands like Bear Creek cheddar broccoli or Knorr soup mix have you covered with hearty flavors that only require water and heat. And let's be honest, when you're navigating a world of geopolitical tension and climate disasters, a comforting bowl of soup can feel like a 5-star experience. Nutritionally, these mixes often include dehydrated vegetables, grains, and a decent amount of protein depending on the variety, offering a balanced meal in a pinch. Historically, soups have always been a survival staple. Cooking bones, vegetables, and scraps could stretch a family's supplies through tough winters and war-torn regions. Now, we have the advantage of modern dehydration technology that locks in taste and extends shelf life up to 2 years or more. Keep them in airtight containers, rotate periodically, and you've got a quick, hot meal at the ready whenever the power goes out or your fresh foods run dry. With labor strikes hitting shipping lines, it's only a matter of time before these convenience packs become scarce or overpriced. Snag them now to maintain a sense of warmth and normalcy later. 18. Shelf-stable almond or soy milk, silk unsweetened or almond breeze original. When regular dairy is off the table, either because the stores are empty or you've lost refrigeration, shelf-stable almond or soy milk can swoop in to save your morning coffee, cereal, or baking needs. Brands like Silk Unsweetened or Almond Breeze Original boast shelf lives of several months to a year, especially if stored in a cool, dry place. And here's the kicker. Plant-based milks are not just trendy alternatives. They're a practical solution to global dairy disruptions fueled by climate change and cattle diseases. Nutritionally, these milks provide calcium, vitamin D, and sometimes added protein, depending on the variety. Historically, non-dairy milk soared in popularity for dietary and environmental reasons. But now, it's proving indispensable in crisis scenarios where refrigeration is unreliable at best. Think about your kids who can't start the day without cereal or your own need for a creamy coffee fix. This is the backup that keeps life semi-normal when fresh milk is a fantasy. Plus, many versions come in compact Tetra Paks that are easy to stack and store. With supply lines for almonds and soy under pressure from droughts, you're looking at future price hikes. Get ahead of the curve by adding a case or two of shelf-stable plant-based milk to your stockpile. 17. Spices and seasonings, McCormick garlic powder or Lorry's seasoned salt. A crisis doesn't mean you have to eat bland, soul-crushing meals day in and day out. Spices and seasonings might seem like a luxury, but they're actually morale-boosting essentials that can transform simple rations into flavorful feasts. McCormick garlic powder and Lorry's seasoned salt are versatile go-tos, but don't stop there. Think chili powder, black pepper, onion flakes, and even dried herbs like oregano or basil. Historically, spices have shaped trade routes and even sparked wars, underscoring their profound value when resources run thin. Today, climate volatility is wreaking havoc on spice-growing regions, and labor strikes at shipping ports could disrupt these small but essential goods faster than you think. Properly stored in airtight containers, most dried spices can last 1 to 3 years without losing much potency. Having an array of flavors not only keeps your taste buds entertained, but also encourages you to consume more nutrient-dense foods like beans and rice. Imagine making a hearty chili or flavorful stew that tastes restaurant-grade, even in the midst of societal meltdown. Spices also have health benefits. Garlic powder is known for antibacterial properties, while turmeric offers anti-inflammatory perks. Don't let lack of flavor be one more hardship. Stock up now and thank yourself later. 16. Ready-to-eat meals, Hormel Completes or Mountain House pouches. When power is out and you're too exhausted to cook from scratch, having ready-to-eat meals feels like discovering an oasis in the desert. Hormel Completes or Mountain House pouches offer precisely that. No-fuss meals that can be warmed up with minimal effort or even eaten cold in a pinch. Thanks to specialized packaging, these meals can last 5 years or more, depending on the type. Historically, militaries around the world have relied on MREs, meals ready to eat, to sustain troops in combat zones, proving just how valuable ready-made solutions can be when conventional cooking is impossible. Nutritionally, they're often designed to be balanced, including proteins, carbs, and fats, though you might want to supplement with extra fruits or veggies. Storage is straightforward. Stack them in a cool, dry area and rotate your stock to ensure freshness. Global inflation is hitting prepared foods especially hard, and labor strikes in meat processing plants or packaging facilities can disrupt the entire supply chain. Waiting until the last minute could mean you're left scrounging for subpar options at sky-high prices. Grab a variety of flavors to combat meal fatigue. Trust me, variety matters when every day starts feeling like Groundhog Day in a crisis. These convenient meals can truly be lifesavers. 15. Vinegar, Bragg apple cider vinegar or Heinz distilled white vinegar. Vinegar may be the most underrated multitasker in your pantry, especially when disaster strikes. Bragg apple cider. Vinegar or Heinz distilled white vinegar are not just for salad dressings. They're key players in food preservation, cleaning, and even basic health remedies. With supply chains cracking and inflation hammering prices, versatile products like vinegar offer a way to stretch resources. Historically, vinegar has been used for pickling vegetables and preserving foods for centuries, allowing people to have access to vital nutrients long after harvest seasons ended. In a crisis, you'll appreciate the ability to pickle onions, cucumbers, or whatever produce you can scavenge, extending shelf life by weeks or months. Beyond the kitchen, vinegar can serve as a natural disinfectant. Mix it with water, and you have a cleaning solution that cuts through grease and bacteria without relying on costly commercial products that might vanish from shelves. Apple cider vinegar is also lauded for its potential health benefits, including aiding digestion and balancing blood sugar levels, which can be crucial when your diet is less than ideal. The best part? Unopened vinegar can last practically forever if stored in a cool, dark place. If there is one product that truly earns the label essential, vinegar is it. 14. Dried pasta sauce mix or powder, McCormick Italian mushroom or Knorr pasta sauces. A stockpile brimming with pasta won't do much good if you're short on sauce. Enter dried pasta sauce mixes like McCormick Italian mushroom or Knorr pasta sauces, the game changers that transform plain carbs into a satisfying meal. With reported disruptions in tomato harvests and global shipping, bottled sauce could become both expensive and tough to find. These dehydrated mixes not only take up less space, but also last longer when kept in airtight containers. Historically, people have dried tomatoes and spices to create portable seasoning blends, ensuring flavor in times of scarcity. Today, we have the luxury of commercially packaged sauce mixes that just need water and maybe a splash of oil to turn into a velvety topping. Nutritionally, these mixes usually contain herbs, spices, and sometimes powdered cheese, providing some protein and key micronutrients. Sure, they're not a substitute for fresh produce, but they can make all the difference in your morale when you're stuck eating from canned goods and bulk grains. Shelf life typically ranges from 1 to 2 years, but proper storage can stretch that further. Don't gamble on finding jarred sauces in a future crisis. Stash away some dried sauce packs now, and you'll have a quick, comforting meal ready at a moment's notice. 13 instant coffee or tea, Folgers instant crystals, or Lipton black tea bags. In a crisis, the little comforts matter a lot. That's why instant coffee or tea is a must-have, not a frivolous splurge. Whether you're a die-hard coffee addict or a tea enthusiast, brands like Folgers instant crystals and Lipton black tea bags can lift your spirits when the grid goes down or grocery aisles are stripped bare. Their shelf lives easily stretch beyond a year, sometimes 2, making them perfect for long-term storage. Plus, instant coffee and tea require minimal prep, just add hot water, which is a blessing when fuel and time are in short supply. Historically, soldiers during wartime cherished instant coffee as a taste of normalcy in the trenches, while explorers in remote areas often carried tea to stave off scurvy and boost morale. Today's geopolitical tensions and labor strikes can disrupt coffee and tea imports, sending prices soaring and inventory plummeting. Don't wait until the caffeinated masses start panic buying. Grab your favorite instant picks, keep them in airtight containers, and rotate your stock to maintain freshness. When everyone else is dragging through a crisis without their caffeine fix, you'll be calmly sipping a cup of hot coffee or tea, giving you the mental edge to tackle whatever the day throws at you. 12. Crackers, Keebler Club crackers, or premium saltines. Crackers may seem unassuming, but when bread becomes scarce or too pricey to justify, these crispy little sheets of dough can be a godsend. Brands like Keebler Club crackers or premium saltines store well, have a relatively long shelf life, usually around 6 to 9 months unopened, and add texture to an otherwise monotonous menu. Pair them with peanut butter, canned tuna, or even canned chicken for a quick and surprisingly satisfying meal that doesn't require cooking or refrigeration. Historically, hardtack was the cracker's ancestor, sustaining sailors and soldiers for centuries because it was easy to store and highly portable. Today, we have more palatable options, but the principle remains the same. Crackers are a handy source of carbs when bread machines go silent. Inflation and commodity shortages can push wheat products out of reach in a blink. Stash a variety of crackers in airtight tins or containers and you'll extend their usable life even longer. They also serve as a morale booster. Think of how comforting it is to munch on something crunchy when stress is high. Whether you're dipping them in powdered soup mixes or layering them with sliced cheese if you have any left, crackers help keep your food routine interesting in dire times. 11. Hard cheeses or waxed cheese, Gouda wheels or waxed cheddar truckles. Who says cheese is a luxury? In a world where everything's breaking down, a bit of cheese can be the difference between dreary meal rations and a truly comforting snack. Hard and waxed cheeses like Gouda wheels or cheddar truckles can last much longer than your typical supermarket variety. Some can endure months, even without refrigeration if kept cool and sealed. Historically, cheese was a staple in regions with limited resources because it's essentially concentrated milk that can be stored for extended periods. Modern crises, ranging from hurricanes to supply chain failures, can disrupt the flow of perishable goods, making even basic dairy a distant dream. While these cheeses aren't immortal, they offer a much longer shelf life than soft cheeses, and their vacuum-sealed or wax-coated packages make them relatively mold-resistant. They're high in protein, calcium, and fats, the trifecta of survival nutrition, and they pack a serious punch of flavor. Best practices include wrapping them in cheesecloth or parchment after opening and storing them in a cool, dry spot. With production lines for dairy already wobbling under labor strikes and feed shortages, it's only a matter of time before cheese prices spike or supply dwindles. Grab a wheel or two, you'll thank yourself when every bite feels like a small celebration. 10. Jerky, Jack Link's beef jerky or Country Archer turkey jerky. Protein is your body's go-to fuel during crisis situations, and Jerky offers a compact, shelf-stable package of muscle-repairing goodness. Brands like Jack Link's Beef Jerky or Country Archer Turkey Jerky are widely available, but don't assume they'll stay that way once panic buying kicks in. Historically, indigenous communities and pioneers relied on jerky to survive harsh winters and long treks, drying or smoking meat to preserve it for months. Today, modern packaging techniques have only improved its longevity, often extending shelf life up to a year or more. When supply lines collapse, fresh meat may be impossible to buy or keep refrigerated, so jerky becomes an invaluable alternative. It's also lightweight and portable, ideal if you have to evacuate on short notice. In times of high stress, a quick protein boost can stabilize blood sugar and keep you alert. Jerky requires zero cooking, making it perfect for power outages or limited fuel scenarios. Just watch the sodium content. While it helps preservation, it can be high. Then again, in a crisis, electrolytes are crucial, and salt can be your friend. Whether you're stashing it for an end-of-the-world scenario or just want a smart snack, jerky stands out as a survival staple. 9. Canned vegetables, Green Giant mixed vegetables, or Libby's cut green beans. When fresh produce is nothing but a distant memory, canned vegetables can maintain your nutrient intake and fend off deficiencies. Brands like Green Giant mixed vegetables or Libby's cut green beans are loaded with vitamins and minerals that can help keep your immune system robust when stress is off the charts. Each can typically last 1 to 3 years if stored in a cool, dry place, with some varieties stretching even further. Historically, canning technology revolutionized food security, feeding sailors, soldiers, and civilians in times of scarcity. In the current climate, literally and figuratively, vegetable-growing regions face droughts, floods, and pesticide shortages, driving up the cost of fresh produce. Stockpiling canned goods ensures you have a fallback plan when produce prices spike or shelves empty. Pair these veggies with rice, canned meat, or pasta for a balanced meal. They're already cooked, so heating them is optional if energy is scarce. You can mash them into soups, blend them into sauces, or simply eat them straight from the can. Pro tip: rotate your stock to keep it fresh and inspect cans for dents or swelling. Treat these humble vegetables with respect, and they'll repay you in the form of essential nutrients and emotional comfort when crisis hits. 8. Powdered milk, Nido Fortificata by Nestlé. Powdered milk is like a pantry superhero quietly waiting in the background for its moment to shine. While fresh milk is a perishable luxury, powdered milk provides the same rich nutrients but with a shelf life that can last years. Nido Fortificata by Nestlé is a standout option, fortified with essential nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin C, making it a powerhouse for both children and adults during tough times. What makes powdered milk invaluable? First, it's incredibly versatile. Use it to make creamy soups, bake cakes, prepare instant puddings, or even whip it into a frothy drink for your coffee's creaminess fix. For families with children, it's a lifesaver, ensuring growing kids get their daily dose of calcium and vitamin D when fresh milk is off the table. Imagine a scenario where supply chain disruptions make dairy products impossible to find. With powdered milk, you won't have to sacrifice nutrition. It even serves as an emergency protein source crucial for maintaining energy levels during stressful periods. Powdered milk was a staple during wartime rationing for good reason. Soldiers relied on it for portability and nutrient density. Store it in airtight containers, possibly with oxygen absorbers, and its creamy flavor can last for years. 7. Instant mashed potatoes, Idahoan classic mashed potatoes. Idahoan classic mashed potatoes deserve a prime spot in your emergency stockpile, despite their unassuming appearance. These dehydrated flakes are more than a basic pantry item. They pack convenience, nutrition, and survival efficiency. If you're grappling with a power outage, rationing food due to supply chain breakdowns, or just trying to stretch your meal budget, instant mashed potatoes are a godsend. Why such a big deal? They're ridiculously easy to prepare. Just add boiling water and you have a warm, comforting side dish in minutes. Idahoan Classic stands out for its creamy texture and rich flavor, reminiscent of homemade mashed potatoes. Nutritionally, they offer more than empty calories, delivering essential nutrients like potassium, crucial for muscle function and electrolyte balance. During stressful situations, comfort foods can do wonders for morale, and these potatoes fit that bill perfectly. Historically, instant mashed potatoes helped sustain communities during uncertain times, and they were included in Cold War emergency kits due to their lightweight, compact nature. One small package yields multiple servings, a boon when you're trying to ration supplies. Storage is a breeze. Sealed pouches remain fresh for years. Versatility is the icing on the cake. Use them to thicken soups, create potato pancakes, or even craft a casserole crust. 6. Canned mushrooms, Del Monte sliced mushrooms. Canned mushrooms like Del Monte sliced mushrooms are an underrated but indispensable item for your stockpile. These fungi do far more than top your pizza. They're a powerhouse of nutrition, versatility, and convenience. In a crisis, fresh produce is often the first casualty of empty store shelves. That's where canned mushrooms step up, offering essential minerals like selenium, potassium, and B vitamins. Selenium acts as a powerful antioxidant while potassium keeps your heart rate steady, both critical in high-stress situations. Did you know mushrooms are among the few plant-based sources of vitamin D? Perfect for long winters or times when sunlight is scarce. Fresh mushrooms spoil rapidly, but canned varieties can stay viable for years if unopened and stored in a cool, dry place. With supply chain issues looming, these shelf-stable gems are a safe bet. Their ability to absorb flavors makes them culinary chameleons. Toss them into soups, sauces, or stir-fries. Historically, preserved mushrooms helped armies and explorers endure harsh conditions, prized for their meaty texture and nutrient density. Beyond nutrition, they're also morale boosters. Something about adding mushrooms elevates a meal from survival food to comforting home-cooked dish. Secure a few cans, and you'll never have to sacrifice taste or nutrients when times get tough. 5. Peanut butter, Skippy Natural or Jif Creamy. Peanut butter isn't just a tasty sandwich spread. It's a survival superfood that earns a top spot in any emergency stockpile. Brands like Skippy Natural and Jif Creamy are not only delicious, but also packed with the nutrients you'll desperately need in times of uncertainty. At first glance, peanut butter's simplicity is deceptive. Each spoonful delivers a hefty dose of protein, healthy fats, and essential minerals like magnesium and potassium. In a crisis, every calorie counts, and peanut butter's caloric density can sustain you when other foods are scarce. Historically, soldiers in World War II relied on peanut butter for portable, high-energy sustenance, and that logic holds firm today. The beauty is in its versatility. Eat it straight from the jar, spread it on crackers, mix it into oatmeal, or even blend it into sauces for a burst of flavor. No refrigeration required, making it ideal for long-term storage. Properly kept, a jar can last for months, even years, offering a comfort food and nutrient powerhouse wrapped into one. Plus, it's a morale booster. The creamy or crunchy texture provides a hint of normalcy that soothes the psyche in a tumultuous world. Make sure to rotate your stock and keep it sealed away from heat for maximum shelf life. 4. Oats, Quaker Old-Fashioned Oats or Bob's Red Mill Organic Rolled Oats. Oats might look unremarkable, but don't let their modest appearance fool you. They are the ultimate multitaskers, nutritious, versatile, and incredibly shelf-stable. Quaker Old-Fashioned Oats or Bob's Red Mill. Organic rolled oats can fit seamlessly into your preparedness plan. Nutritionally, oats are loaded with fiber and beta-glucan, which helps lower cholesterol and stabilizes blood sugar. That's gold in a crisis when stress can wreak havoc on your body. Beyond plain oatmeal, you can use oats in baked goods, pancakes, energy bars, or even savory dishes like oat-based risotto. Historically, oats have fueled workers during industrial revolutions and soldiers across battle lines because they provide slow-burning energy that lasts. This is critical when every day of a crisis feels like a marathon. Proper storage can push their lifespan to years. Stash them in airtight containers or mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. The best part? They don't need elaborate preparation, just hot water or milk, making them indispensable if cooking resources are limited. Pair them with canned fruit or peanut butter for a nutrient-dense meal that doesn't feel like you're just surviving. Global inflation and farmland disruptions are already spiking grain prices, so get ahead of the curve. Oats offer a comforting, hearty staple that will stand by you when fresh foods vanish. 3. Cooking oil, Bertolli extra virgin olive oil or Wesson canola oil. Cooking oil might not top your excitement list, but in a prolonged emergency, you'll quickly realize it's essential. Bertolli, extra virgin olive oil or Wesson canola oil can mean the difference between bland, boiled rations and meals that actually lift your spirits. Oil isn't just about flavor. It's a calorie-dense macronutrient your body needs. Every tablespoon carries around 120 calories, making it a potent source of energy, crucial when food supplies are limited. Historically, civilizations have gone to great lengths to secure cooking fats, knowing their value in sustaining life. With the current volatility in global markets, particularly in regions that produce olives or oilseeds, prices could skyrocket without notice, and supply could evaporate just as fast. Store your oil in a cool, dark place to preserve quality. Unopened bottles can last up to 2 years, sometimes more. Once opened, it's best to use them within 6 months, but you can extend that by transferring oil into smaller, airtight containers. Oils also serve secondary purposes. They can be used for lamps in a blackout, for making soap in extreme circumstances, and even for sealing foods in jars, a rudimentary preservation method. Don't overlook this staple. Without it, your survival foods may quickly become unpalatable, and your body will miss those vital fats. 2. Salt, Morton table salt or diamond crystal kosher salt. Salt is the bedrock of civilization. Once so vital it was used as currency, and for good reason. Morton table salt or diamond crystal. Kosher salt are more than flavor enhancers. They're essential for food preservation, wound care, and maintaining basic bodily functions. While unseasoned food can dampen morale in a crisis, the real magic of salt lies in its ability to keep foods from spoiling. Curing meats or fermenting vegetables becomes feasible if you've got enough salt in your arsenal. Historically, entire economies hinged on salt mining, and wars were fought to control its trade routes. Today, with supply chains fracturing under climate stress and labor unrest, we face the real risk of salt shortages or spiking prices. Nutritionally, sodium is indispensable for nerve and muscle function, especially in high-stress situations where dehydration is common. A pinch of salt in water can help rehydrate you more effectively than plain water. From a storage standpoint, salt is practically immortal. Keep it in an airtight container and away from moisture, and it'll stay usable indefinitely. Beyond cooking, salt can be used for cleaning, de-icing, and even deterring pests. Skip this item and you'll feel the void instantly, both in taste and in survival capabilities. 1. Sugar, Domino granulated sugar or C&H pure cane sugar. Sugar might sound like an indulgence, but in times of crisis, it's a linchpin for preserving morale and preserving food alike. Domino granulated sugar or C&H. Pure cane sugar both come with near-indefinite shelf lives when kept dry and sealed. Historically, sugar was so prized it shaped colonies and fueled economic powerhouses. Today, with inflation hitting sweeteners hard and extreme weather damaging cane fields, sugar prices could spike at any moment. Nutritionally, sugar provides quick energy, crucial when you're short on sleep and rations. But there's more. Sugar is a cornerstone for making jams, jellies, and syrups, effectively extending the life of your fruits. Ever notice how shelf-stable fruit spreads line grocery aisles? That's sugar doing its preserving job. It also helps feed yeast for bread making, which can become essential if you're baking to stretch your supplies. In a pinch, a sugar solution mixed with water and salt forms a rudimentary oral rehydration therapy. Did you know sugar even has antimicrobial properties for dressing minor wounds? Yes, it can help draw out moisture and inhibit bacterial growth. Whether you're sweetening instant coffee, bartering with neighbors, or preserving the last of your garden haul, sugar stands as a top-tier survival asset. Ignore it at your own peril.